I don't know about a Stargate in the Green Zone in Iraq, but I have reliable friends in government who tell me that we have indeed had a Stargate, have had Stargate capabilities for decades.
Decades.
Yes, decades. About 12 years. By the way, there's going to be full disclosure on extraterrestrials, I think, real soon. But about 12 years ago, there was a cosmic shift, and we lost our ability to do Stargate, and I don't know if it's been restored since then. But there is absolutely at least 2 extraterrestrial races active on Earth now. We've been killing the reptiles, and the beneficials are basically rising. One of the reasons we have not had a nuclear war so far is because we're under a form of nuclear quarantine. And I believe that sometime in 2017, 2018 through 2020, there is this massive cosmic convergence of good that is happening. So I say it again, God bless Donald Trump. Even if he fails completely, he has made it possible for we the people to embrace the hashtag #unrig.
Outside unrig. You know, it's funny, somebody was like, so you believe in the reptiles and the Draco reptilians that like David Icke and stuff are talking about?
I do.
I do as well.
I do. I have no direct knowledge, but I read a lot. I'm the top Amazon reviewer for nonfiction. I read in 98 categories, one of which is extraterrestrial. And I've reviewed a number of books. And if people go to phi-beta-iota.net, which is a free subscription with no advertising ever, at Phi-Beta-Iota, if they search for extraterrestrial and UFOs, they'll get everything that we've posted on that. We live in a very complicated cosmos, and one of the things I would emphasize is that Earth is an experiment in humanity rising. And in fact, we have failed to do as much as we could have because the elite began fencing the commons. And the industrial age was essentially all about turning the 99% into slaves. We have 5 billion poor people who could be liberated. And we have the one unlimited resource we have on planet Earth is human intelligence. Right now, we are leaving the 5 billion human brains that could be creating infinite wealth. We are leaving them in a state of abject poverty and misery because the elites are essentially selfish and they are controlling Earth so as to concentrate wealth. I think we can take the power back, and I think we can have a world that is prosperous and at peace if the American public will decide that it wants to self-govern with integrity.
Yes, and I believe that 100%. You know, if we can self-govern with integrity, we can really together change it. Because 5 billion people across the world is a lot of people. And if you believe in some of the ancient alien stories and stuff, I remember the story of Lemuria, and the Lemurians were having to go against a threat that was very similar to the deep state. And when 2 million Lemurians stand up to 1,000 elite, there's not really much that they're going to be able to do with 2 million bodies coming at them. You know what I'm saying? And even then, they don't even you don't even have to fight at that point. There's just too many of you to.
Let me again. I really want to stress truth and reconciliation. I get a lot of pushback from people who want to hang the elite that have been they're not just abusing children. They're murdering them for their blood, and they're murdering them after they terrorize them. I don't know if you're familiar with how the Chinese boil dogs.
Yes.
But basically, a boiled dog is a terrified dog that pumps adrenaline into their blood, and it changes the flavor of the meat. I personally am opposed to this practice, but it helps people understand why the elite are so fond of adrenalized children's blood. They consider it an anti-aging chemical agent. Our elite are not just kidnapping children and abusing them sexually. They are murdering them for their blood, their body parts, and their bone marrow. It's absolutely essential
So this is like
Absolutely
pizza.
essential.
This is like Pizzagate, but this is the actual Pizzagate that's been running for a very long time. I know on YouTube there was this resurgence about all these pedophiles and the missing children and stuff, and everybody connected it to Pizzagate. All Fontes, the DNC emails and stuff like that. But that's something that's been
Well,
going on for a while, right?
this has not only been going on throughout history. It's very active, for example, in Afghanistan, where small boys are trained as dancing girls and sodomized regularly. It's very, very popular within the Saudi royal family. And it's essentially a very, very sick cultural practice. I think we need to stop it. And the way to stop it, and the reason I believe in truth and reconciliation, I used to chase terrorists, and I know that waterboarding doesn't work. Anybody who says waterboarding works is either a liar or a moron. And that includes Dick Cheney and Bob Gates. What you have here is an opportunity for people to expose the network, all right? And so when you capture somebody, if they think they're going to be hanged, they have no incentive to talk. What we really need to do is pursue a truth and reconciliation strategy that gives our elite an exit strategy.
Gives them the ability to leave without getting taken out the way that they don't want to be.
Yes, exactly. There is more than enough wealth. In fact, someone calculated once that if you confiscated all of the illicit wealth of the world, including the Rothschild and Vatican wealth, you would not have very much left if you distributed it among 6 billion people. But if you get them out of the way and you empower the 6 billion people to create a world that is prosperous and peace, the 6 billion people, the 99%, will create infinite wealth. So we're now moving to what the foreign minister of Russia calls a post-Western economic paradigm. And I have contributed to this, and it's one of the reasons I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. I have contributed to this with an article on how we need to move beyond we need to have a post-Western economic, information, and engineering paradigm. I wrote the Open Source Everything Manifesto, Transparency, Truth, and Trust. It became cult reading among Anonymous and Lucent and a few others. But basically, Open Source Everything Engineering allows you to accomplish what we've accomplished with Western technology at 10% of the cost. We can accomplish all 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals within a decade at 10% of the cost. I'll give you just one example. A John Deere tractor costs roughly $200,000 and cannot be repaired by the farmer in the field. In fact, the farmers are now suing John Deere for right to repair. When a John Deere tractor breaks, there's a very expensive process that includes bringing in a trailer and getting the tractor out of the field onto the trailer and to a John Deere factory where they make secret repairs. Okay?
Secret.
An open source everything engineering tractor, and Marcin Jakubowski of Open Source Ecology has built one. An open source everything engineering tractor costs $20,000, 10% of what a John Deere tractor costs. And it is easily repaired in the field by the farmer with plug-and-play parts, many of which can be manufactured on a 3D printer using recycled plastic. So we're at a point now where we have to move away from the Western paradigm that is designed to concentrate wealth with legal and financial handcuffs, and we have to move toward a post-Western paradigm in which we create infinite wealth for the 99%. Right now, my goal is to restore integrity to the U.S. government and offer the 1% an exit strategy.
And I believe that that's something that, definitely needs to happen. Some of the people in the chat are like, we don't need to give them a pass. And, I think that people don't understand, we're not giving them a pass. We're just giving them a pathway to actually do the right thing. Because if we give them a pathway.
We just need to get them out of the way.
Yeah, we need to get them out of the way.
And that's one reason why I'm really excited about the possibility. I mean, Trump is a superb negotiator, and he's a superb speaker to crowds. And I believe that what he really needs is a vice president and a chief of staff that are some combination of Jack Welch, Lee Iacocca, and David Stockman. He needs people who can run the government while he focuses on renegotiating individual and small business and family debt, and he focuses on barnstorming the country to push through the Election Reform Act of 2017. If Donald Trump did those two things, he would be the greatest president ever. And of course, he has to live up to his campaign promises.